is, what are our business terms? Are you willing, as the county, to stand behind them financially to operate the service area?
Larry?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I personally, you know, I recognize and appreciate, and I think Supervisor Chapman has said numerous times, you know, that about service and that it provides, and it's, you know, there's a lot of benefits to it, but it seems like it's just something that's maybe, you know, done its thing and run its course, and it's just not, we've evolved beyond, you know, beyond the, maybe a past, you know, time where this was a needed and well sought out service that people subscribed to, and it was able to run itself. I think really that, I mean, to be honest, that's what I make of it. I mean, I know I've been here for a couple of years and have heard, and I mean, that's the kind of the gut feel I get. The revenue always seems to be decreasing. People are going to alternative deals, whether it be cable or satellite or whatever. And I personally don't feel that the county's general fund should be, you know, paying for subsidizing so people can have Honey Lake TV. I mean, we do have a lot of, you know, as it's been well documented, and I don't want to bring up the swimming pool again, but that was the thing, you know, we had to decide, okay, are we going to spend county money, you know, for a community pool? It was a tough decision. I mean, everybody wanted it, but then this is the same thing. Now we're going to spend county money to provide people with Honey Lake TV. I mean, I say no, me. I think if the service can't run within its income stream, then it's unfortunate, but I mean, so goes life. I mean, that it might be something that'll have to be phased out, unfortunately, but those are the realities as I see it.
Bob?
Yeah, what kind of money are you talking when you say you may need general fund money to continue? What kind of money are you talking?
Well, currently, my understanding is the user fees are roughly $35,000 a year. Our base budget is approximately $50,000 a year. 50, right. That's without any maintenance of the equipment, because you know there's a line item in the budget for maintenance. Any new services wouldn't be part of that.
So what's making up the other 15?
The other 15 is for additional equipment.
I mean, you got a cost of 50,000.
Right.
You defeated 35,000. You're 15 short. Where would that other 15 coming from?
Well, actually, we're successful in obtaining multiple grants to do the digital transition, and so there are funds that we had gotten back from doing that from those grants. We basically spent the money and then we got reimbursed, and so we have some operating dollars still left. I think approximately $50,000, which we're backfilling to fill up the rest of the budget shortfall.
So you got money, say, in your account to fill in that deficit,
Right,
until it lasts.
yeah, this year we'll be fine.
This year you get fine.
Right. It's next year that'll be a concern. But we intend to do some significant advertising to try to get folks to realize the cost savings to them utilizing Honey Lake TV service, or county service area 1, if you will, versus what they're paying annually or monthly for their, you know, you pay $25 a year for Honey Lake TV service or county service. You know, keep getting the two interposed with each other. But if you use CSA 1, then that's $25 a year. Currently, if you use any of the other cable companies, you're looking at $100 a month for those bills. You know, and a lot of people now are looking at being able to live stream Netflix and things like that over the internet. Well, they can get their movies, they can get Honey Lake TV for $25 a year. Might be a significant savings to them. So we're going to point that out in some advertising campaigns and things like that, see if we can't generate some interest.
The problem is a lot of them get Honey Lake TV for nothing.
Exactly.
I think that's the hole you need to fix.
Right. And the problem is you don't know who's using it. There's no way to tell who's using it. It's an honor system, really. And that's why, that's exactly why the county took it over and created CSA 1, because when Honey Lake TV was the entity providing the signal, there was many times where we just had to shut the power off. People weren't getting TV for a while, and people didn't like that, so they came to the board and asked for some resolution, and that's when they formed the CSA 1. And so here we are visiting the same thing again. You know, if we shut it off, I'm sure you'll probably have some people in here, complaining about the fact that that's gone again, and that's unfortunate. It's the nature of the beast nowadays, but you have to decide, what's the most important value to your constituents. And we do know that our service area has expanded somewhat. We're able now with the new technology to actually cover some of the areas that weren't covered before, which is mainly the Janesville, Bass Hill area. Sunnyside Road. We weren't able to provide that because of the terrain shielding that was happening with Bass Hill closed, covering, cutting the signal off. Well, now we're able to provide that service in that area. And, additional service, we were looking at expanding also into Westwood. The chart, if you aren't familiar with it, the darker green areas are the stronger signal. As it gets further out, it turns red. And so you can see the areas that we're getting coverage in. So based on that, we might be able to go around and, do a mass mailing to those folks in that general area and see if there's an interest for them to get back on it, and that's the best we can do at this point, see if we can't generate some more interest in it.
Aaron?
So when you increased, with your new equipment, you increased your service area, you went to the auditor and increased your tax base on that area too, or is you just going with what you?
Well, actually, we went to LAFCO. We had a meeting with LAFCO and discussed that with them. The service area never increased because it's set by the ordinance. So that would have to be looked at as far as the actual service area expansion.
Yeah, is the CSA countywide?
No, it's just within a certain area. I think, I'm not exactly sure, the actual boundaries. It's a kind of a moving target. I don't know if Karen could probably help.
Actually, it is a countywide service area, but I guess the service isn't available in all areas, so it's not collected in services that can't receive
Right.
in areas that can't receive the services. I'd like to add to the conversation that in my shop, I do have some concerns about the payment of claims. There's really no oversight as far as what comes to me. It's, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong or anything. It's just time to look at the process and kind of button it up and improve on it. So when claims come to me, it should be signed by someone in the county who is familiar with the contract and the services being provided and can sign off on the work that's been done. So currently, because the board approved a new contract in February, I've informed Honey Lake TV Corporation that I can no longer pay claims until we have a contract in place, because the way I view it, there's currently no active contract. So hopefully the issue can be resolved soon and we can get back on track and get bills paid. I know they have their own funds, corporation funds, and so there's a little bit of a disconnect between how the grant funds flow, whether they're deposited with the corporation, and the county's not really informed of what's going on or familiar with it. So that creates just a little bit of concern for me. And so I think we need to have the conversation, just clarify the process and assign oversight to someone. And then I think as far as assigning new users, the assessor's office maintains a list, but it's only limited because of, like you said, a user can call or complete a form and just say, I don't use the service, remove me from the list. But there's really no one out there trying to find out who the new users are and add them to the list. So there's a few things.
Well, of course, our action here today is just directions to staff on this item, not necessarily on the budget item, which I'll hear later on in the meeting, so.
If I could, I'd like to respond a little bit to Karen's comments. Honey Lake TV does not have any funds. The only funds they have are the proceeds we got from the grants. That's the only funds Honey Lake TV has, unless she's aware of some other ones that we're not aware of.
They were deposited with.
We tried to deposit to the county. They said, no, it's your money.
I see, okay.
And so that's, like I said, that's the only funds we have. As far as the service area, our understanding was when that was created, was the assessor was to assess the folks in the service area. If that's changed, then, maybe there's some dialogue needs to be conducted there as well, but that was our understanding of it, Honey Lake TV was simply the contractor to provide the service signal.
My understanding from Mr. Bunch is that it is appraised throughout, most commonly a new house or remodel, and they see a television antenna, they add that address to the service area fee unless that person wants out. So there is some effort to pick up subscriber user, people are taking the service without paying the fee.
Do they transfer that fee back to if a home is sold? Does they go back on the tax rolls again?
I don't know.
Iona?
Could I ask Dan a question?
You certainly
Iona McCain. Dan, what if we have a public out there that doesn't know that they've got this service free? In other words, they turn on their TV because they brought it with them because they moved here, and all of a sudden, hey, I got this channel. They don't know whether to come in to you or not, do they?
Well, we do advertising, but
they don't realize
not
it.
everybody reads all the advertising here, so.
I know. There must be some other technique that you can use, maybe hire somebody to go out there and knock on doors and say, are you receiving this channel?
All that's associated with the cost, and, we're trying to keep the cost to a minimum.
Well, you're not going to get anything.
Yeah, I understand, it's a double-edged sword. I mean, we spend the money to get the information out there, how do we spend it? Do we hire somebody to?
I think that's probably the best way to do it, because I think there's some innocent people out there that are
Right.
receiving the free service, but they don't know that they should pay for it. I mean, instead of thinking everybody is guilty of some great crime, I think the
Right.
best thing to look at it is maybe the contact of letting them know it. And if you go along and you see they have that antenna up there, then go knock on their door and
Right.
say, pay a fee,
Well,
this
they
is
could
it.
also provide a brochure or something like that to Chamber
Yes.
of Commerce. They could provide that, or real estate agencies in town, they could add that to the new homeowners package, things like
Well,
that. So, I mean, that's
yeah.
ways to get information out as well, at a minimum cost.
Well, what I see is that these people don't see that they're doing anything wrong.
An advertisement on the channel,
Yeah.
a verbal advertisement.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
On the channel.
Yeah.
On the actual channel, verbal
If you receive
advertisement,
this
yes.
signal and you get this channel, then you should pay for the service, something like that.
Right, we can do that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Larry, you got one more question or comment?
I mean, really, with all due respect, I think the system has just become, prehistoric. I mean, imagine if, you automatically, everybody got Dish TV for free, and then they just put a message on there, oh, if you're getting this, check, make sure it's on your tax bill, and if not, call 1-8, I mean, come on, it's just, it's a no-win deal.
I understand,
I mean,
we've
if-
checked
if-
several things.
If there's no way for you to have control I mean, nobody should be able to get it without Honey Lake TV being able to activate the signal the same way, cable or satellite. It just seems to be outdated, unfortunately. And, I mean, some things come and go,
Right, right.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Would you like to address the Honey Lake
I
TV?
would.
I'm glad you got here in time, anyway.
I thought we were starting at 10:30, I
Well,
apologize.
Well, we kind of ran a little bit ahead, but we waited for you.
Oh, good. I just wanted to.
You have to give Susan your name.
Hi, I'm Odette. Microphone. No, that's okay.
She knows.
I'm Odette Smith,
Right.
Secretary for Honey Lake TV. Back in September of 2001, there was an ordinance that was made by the county of Lassen. And it had to do with the collection of the fees in service area number 1. And it stated they could sign and waive the $25 service area fee if they had no television, if all the television sets on the parcel were using anything else than service area number 1. Also that there would be no exemption, protest, or objection shall be allowed on the sole ground of poor reception quality. That was section 2. And section 3 is the one that I'm primarily interested in. It says right in here that a specific line item identifying the Honey Lake TV user fee shall appear each year on the tax bill, sent to all property owners within the county service area
who are shown on the most recent secured tax roll as being charged a user fee for television services within the county service area. An application for exemption from the user fee shall be available from the county assessor. The completed exemption application must be received by the assessor no later than August 1st to remove the fee from the current roll. Applications received after will not remove the user fee from the current tax roll. If the application meets the requirements, the auditor shall remove the user fee from the roll for the current year only. You know, folks, this hasn't been done. We have been left holding the bag, so to speak. This was a Board of Supervisors of the County of Lassen. They ordained this back in 2001. There shall be refunds of fees paid or corrections made for the current fiscal tax year only. Now, what do you say about that? I mean, you know, you've let us down, truly. The assessor's office, you know, has told people, oh, that's okay, you know, you don't need to resign. It's not necessary. Honey Lake TV is a non-profit corporation. You know that it was established in 1957 by a group of ranchers because they wanted TV signals to come to this Honey Lake Valley. Because of terrain shielding, we had none. And when you say prehistoric, sir, I beg your pardon, but this is digital TV we have now. We've struggled for very, very many years to provide wonderful digital TV reception and a California station to people in our community who want to take advantage of it for $25 a year. I don't see how you can beat that for $25 a year. We're not in it to make money. I remember Alva Bennett, you know, Ed Zanger. I can mention the ranchers that have all gone now that established this for the good of the community. That's all Honey Lake TV is doing, is we're trying to help. There's a lot of people out there who cannot afford $100 a month for TV reception. And there will be more. And there will be more that don't want to pay that, even if they can afford it, because this is now available to them. But we need your help. We need you to live up to this ordinance that you created in 2001.
Dan, your presentation was good, however. Thank you, Odette. Good morning, Teresa. How are you?
Good morning.
Would you like to speak?
I would like to speak, and
Love to hear from you.
for the record,
Now,
I am
you
Teresa.
have to get up to the podium. You want to?
For the record, I am Teresa Phillips, and today I'm just representing Teresa Phillips and my household, nobody else, no other organizations. I have Honey Lake TV. I get about 15 channels, clear as a bell. We don't have satellite. We're not on the cable. We can't get cable where we live. We live in Janesville, up on Monte Vista. We have an antenna on our house. I don't personally own property, but the gentleman that resides with me owns 3 pieces of property and is happy to pay the fee when it's on there. I don't want to watch Toddlers and Tiaras and Duck Dynasty, so I don't want to pay $100 a month for TV, but I do like to watch the news and play along with Jeopardy. We stream through the internet on Roku and a couple other channels. But to have Honey Lake TV as part of the benefit of living in this community, I think is valuable. My mother uses it, my stepdad uses it. I know other people that use it, and I have to agree with Odette to say it's antiquated. Come to my house and watch TV with me. You know, it's incredible. I hate to see it go away. I really do. I hope you think seriously about it, and there has to be some sort of solution that maybe Dan and his group could come up with. And you know, as Larry, I think someone pointed out, you know, the chamber may be able to help get the word out. You know, more, I don't know about going door to door, you know, but I know that I wasn't really aware of it until somebody that I know who's involved with Honey Lake TV said, just, you could do this and do that, and they did it, and it worked incredibly, and I've been telling folks about it ever since. So, you know, please consider this as a benefit to the community and not something that you want to just take away arbitrarily because you think that everybody has cable or satellite that can afford it or can't afford it. I can afford to have satellite or cable if I wanted it, I just choose not to have it. So I'm thankful for Honey Lake TV and for everything you guys do. So I guess that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Teresa. Appreciate it. Anybody else in the audience want to comment on it? I mean, again, we're back to directing staff.
Mr. Chairman,
Sure, Larry?
I want to clarify, I didn't mean that the programming was prehistoric. I mean, obviously, it's completely up to date. I agree with everything you said. What I was referring to is the method of, you know, collecting funds is a bit prehistoric when I mean, the system should be able to only allow certain people to get the signals, what I'm saying, like anything else in the modern times we live in. In that way, it is prehistoric. I think it's very intrusive for a bill just to appear on your tax bill. I mean, that is, you shouldn't have to spend your time to go show proof that you have other bills. I mean, this is, we don't live in, you know, a communist country. I don't want to have to waste my time personally going to the assessor's office and proving that I have something else. I mean, we need government to get out of people's life, not hassle people. And I would like to request that thing that the board did back in whenever, 2000.
Echoing the rest of the board, I think.
Whatever, I think that, I would like to put that on the future agenda to come and have a relook at that, because to me, it's, I probably have several of those bills in my thing. I don't know, I've never had a Honey Lake TV, but I know I haven't ever taken the time to go to the assessor's office with my other bills and saying, please take this off. I mean, you know, we're busy people, as are most of the other people here. And I just think it's ridiculous to automatically get charged for something until you take time out of your life to go get it removed. And I think that if there are 3 board members that want to approve that in the budget, and I mean, if that's how it works, but it does, it needs to be, if the county thinks, like as Teresa mentioned, it's a benefit to the community to provide Honey Lake TV, and if you know, 3 people could be sold on that, then it should be, but then it should be said for what it is. Don't bother people with having to go, you know, plead with the assessor, and don't bother people to have a deadline, like Odette said. If you don't show up by this day, well, tough luck, you know, you've missed the cutoff. That's ridiculous. If the board thinks it's appropriate and a good bang for the general dollar buck to put a line item in the budget for X amount of dollars, whatever it may be, to provide Honey Lake TV for the residents of the community, well, then so be it. And then I guess it'll get funded, but.
Karen, you have a question or a comment?
I just wanted to comment that actually the current process that is used for removing a TV fee from the tax roll is based on that ordinance. It sounds, I think we have different interpretations of what that ordinance means, but here again, I think we just need to clean up the process. I'm neither for nor against Honey Lake TV. It's actually a service I might like to use. But we need to clean up the process, make sure we know who's doing what, and that there's an adequate oversight of these fees that we're collecting and signing off on, so.
Thank you. Aaron, you bet.
Karen, while you're there, please.
Yes.
And Dan, you can help me out too. So to my understanding, the way I'm reading this is that if I got a bill back in 2004 for Honey Lake TV and I signed a piece of paper saying I didn't want that service, I've never seen it again on my bill. Is that correct?
Correct. But, and when you did it, it's like, we're not gonna go back, and if you come in and say, not only do I want it removed, but I haven't used it in 10 years, what that ordinance means is we're not gonna go back and refund you for the last 10 years. We're moving forward.
Okay.
Okay.
And, okay.
Okay.
That's good enough, I understand that, and I don't know, the way I heard the resolution read to me, that it was supposed to be on there every year. And then-
That's not how
The
we
ordinance,
interpreted
that's what I'm
it. yeah.
Right, well, obviously, I think our direction, I agree with Supervisor Wassick, our direction to Mr. Nichols and an ad hoc group of staff folks is to examine the issue, you know, from the ordinance, all the way through the contract and so on and so forth. I obviously, to answer your question on the backfill, if you will, of some of the deficits, I would agree with Supervisor Wassick. That's gonna be the will of the board at some point in time, that we provide that kind of a backfill or support. We'll just have to put it in the budget. Bob, you had a comment?
I'm not real
Time
clear
to
on
vote.
what that, you said the counties are letting you down. I'm not exactly clear on what you mean by that. Maybe you could clarify that. I got a spot here, I'm not real clear.
Okay, and you know, I don't want to, I'm not here to insult anybody or offend anybody, I apologize.
No, I don't think you're not that kind of.
You would never
Well-
do that, I know.
You're not that kind of person.
True, no, I'm not.
No.
But, no, and I'd be happy to, you know, this is ordinance number 444-C, okay?
I see, I don't have it in front.
Okay, but, they let us down because I think what happened through is, people waived off, I had people call me and say, how do I get this great service, you know? I said, well, you should have it on your bill, but, you can check with the county, and if you don't have the assessment, the $25 fee for service area number 1, okay, which is where we provide the signal, okay, then you can go in and say, I want it on my bill, okay? But because a lot of people signed, when we were having problems, it's been in existence since '57. You know, we've gone analog, I mean, we have been through the trenches. You know, climbing the mountains in snow and I mean, those engines, I think they do a great job. Nobody makes money off of this. Nobody here with Honey Lake TV makes money. This is definitely nonprofit for the community. And, but anyway, if they don't have it on their bill, let's say the people waived the fee because they had satellite, and then they sold their home, okay? Well, it remains off the bill. Other people move in, they make use of our signal, you know, without paying for it. And that's what we need the money for.